Hello, classmates. Welcome to my course. So I want to start off by showing you guys the homepage. My homepage is pretty simple. I really like to keep things nice and simple. So we have a nice banner, just an intro to the course, my photo. So that's their kind of first interaction with me is seeing my face. And just explaining what is going on in the course. And then when we jump into the course or when the students jump into the course, they will click John F. Kennedy to get to the orientation module. So I'm going to click John F. Kennedy. It's going to take us to the orientation module where I have meet your instructor, where they know a little bit about me. It's a short reading about just like my professional career, where I'm from, what did I get my degrees in, what organizations I'm a part of. And then we have your course overview, your course schedule, policies, tardiness, um, professional conduct expectation, preparing for class, Zoom, the materials that they need, and then they will have an introduction video where students will introduce themselves. This is also another way I communicate with my students. I do my own introduction video with just some silly questions that I ask, and that's them kind of getting to know me a little bit more, and then they would respond. And then also I have a syllabus quiz as well. So to jump into the module that I submitted for our assignment, it is on the reconstruction. So I broke my module down into an overview, learning activities, and assignments. I got a lot of student feedback from my current course just saying that they wanted like more visuals and other different ways to show information. So I took that, I took those responses in my current course that I'm working with and just worked on this module to make sure they have everything they need. So when students go into the module, they will have an introduction by me on the reconstruction. It's just a simple overview of what students are expected to do in this module, um, what is reconstruction, and then below, excuse me, below my introduction is the sections that I want them to read out of the textbook. And then the learning outcomes. So they know that what they're expected to do in this course. This reconstruction module is basically a preview course. Like it kind of gives them background information on what happens in the future. So I like to give background information first before I jump into um, the actual module that I'm supposed to be starting off with, just to give them some overview. So the assessments in this course are not really like heavy. They're more so of getting the students kind of acquainted with how I work in the course. So the assessments that I'll be looking at in this course is how are your note-taking skills when it comes to Cornell note-taking? How well do you navigate the library database because we will need those resources in the future? And can you differentiate between a primary source and a secondary source? This is also another way I communicate with my students. I prefer emails. I tell my students that I'll get back to them in like 72 hours just because I work a full-time job as well. So I just want to make sure I'm giving myself enough time to answer their questions. So I really like this idea. I got it from this digital course that we are currently in, and I thought it was really cool, and I can answer questions and then if students have the similar question, they can see it in this help desk. So I added this to my course. And then I also have key terms. I like to do key terms and key people of each section just so they understand what's happening in the section that we're talking about and the terms so they can get familiar with. So when they go to my presentations, they're not lost about what the Freedmen's Bureau is or what sharecropping is or the Tenured Office Act or what impeachment is. Then we also have key people. I feel it's very important to put a name to a face in history because you can easily get confused with people. You may think someone is one person and they're really not. So I just like to put names with faces and just give a little brief overview of what they accomplished and who they are. So as you can see, those are our key people of the Reconstruction era. Next is just a link to their online textbook. It's just easy access for them. Try to make it more accessible so that they're not clicking 12 million different tabs to get to a textbook. So this is why I like to embed the textbook in my course. I also incorporate a lot of how-to videos, especially when accessing the Valencia College database. Students really get confused, so I really want to make sure that they have all the tools they know on how to access the database. So, excuse me, I set up a video, and then I also found on the Valencia College Library website a quick guide that will help them access resources remotely. Then I also have a video of how to take Cornell notes. I don't think many students are familiar with Cornell notes, so I find a simple how-to video. I learned that this generation really uses YouTube a lot, so I just try to incorporate different YouTube videos to make sure they know how to do certain things. Then after they learn how to take their Cornell notes, I have a Zoom presentation. And this is one way I kind of interact and build like a learning community with my students. When I mess up in the presentation, it's just in there so they know I'm human and I'm not perfect. And I make a couple funny jokes in there. So just to kind of make it personable for the student, like they're learning one-on-one with me. And then I also provide a link to the PowerPoint just in case they want to access it for future assignments or additional notes that they may have missed in the presentation. I'm very much a visual learner, so just to break down primary source, secondary source, I found this cute little kind of visual chart that students can understand and just make better choices when picking primary sources and secondary sources. And they should be able to know the difference from this chart. Then after they, take their Zoom presentation notes, they're just going to upload it and I give feedback in the comments. Or if I see that they didn't do the first couple of assignments, I'll email the students. I'm pretty quick at getting back with them. So email is a big one where I communicate with my students, and feedback when grading their assignments. So I like to do a lot of creative projects in my course, but I know that's going to change as AMH 2020 is moving to a Gordon Rule course. So it's going to be more writing and kind of less creative. So for this, I did a scavenger hunt on how to access primary and secondary sources, and they have to come from the Reconstruction era. So I put a video on how to access the primary sources and secondary sources, and then students are expected to use this template. So it's easier for me to grade, and just so you can see like the different riddles, the instructions are on there. And I do put in my instructions the examples of a primary source and secondary source, just so they're seeing it multiple times and they're understanding it. And then they have to figure out the riddles. So the different clues are in bold. That way they know what to look for. And when they get to like a certain question, like question 3, it says gold nose. This Florida University colors are gold and garnet. Name the database, then find a primary source newspaper pertaining to the Reconstruction era from 1865 to 1877. Take a screenshot of a newspaper, give a brief summary of what was discussed about the Reconstruction era, and provide proper citation for the discourse. So not only are they trying to find a primary source, they need to properly cite the source. And that gets them practicing for future assignments where I'm like, okay, write this or write about this topic, but I need you to find 3 sources on this topic or 1 sources on this topic, and cite your source properly. So that this also teaches them how to properly cite a source as well. Let me go back to, oops, that's not it. Uh-oh. Let me go back, sorry. So then they would upload the assignment. I give them feedback. And then that would be it for my module as like a preview to what's going to happen in the future modules. Different ways I plan on communicating with my students is through Canvas announcements, introduction videos, emails, just to make sure they're on the right track. And that is the module I worked on for this course, and I'm looking forward to seeing your modules, and that's it.